We knew about racism, but honestly,
Does racism exist in America? Hi, I'm Brown Theory, narrator, creator, and producer of Testimony, a Musician's Story. It's an audio biography podcast that normally features various musicians, but we put together a special episode on race in America. And we felt that it was important to interview three different people that were different, either racially or socioeconomically, and have this discussion. So I reached out to a bunch of different people, prayed about it, and knew that God would put together the perfect three. And sure enough, He did. Black New Orleans rapper D1, white Southern California rapper Ruslan, and white Dallas Fort Worth police Officer Ben came together and conversed. I asked that question: does racism exist in America? All three answer, but in this particular clip, I'm going to show you what D1 and Ruslan had to say about the topic.
we knew about racism, but honestly, it's such a melting pot down here in New Orleans that, I didn't experience much racism. It was just like a lot of poor people, black and white. And I've experienced racism in my adult years, much more than in my adolescent years. We had a big controversy at LSU to where the Confederate flag that was very prevalent on our campus, a purple and gold version of the Confederate flag. So LSU colors, but the Confederate flag. I saw the hate in some people's eyes when we were trying to get the Confederate flag removed from our campus. Like, I saw people spitting, calling us niggas, like just making death threats. And I'm like, all this over a Confederate flag? And that's just one example, but that's the first one that jumped out in my head. That one personally affected me, literally. Like, I literally got spit on.
Grew up in a predominantly Black and Hispanic neighborhood, and so my experience has been the overwhelming majority of my close friends, my wife, are all African American. My son is half Black. And so traveling the country, being close to people who are Black, and seeing it firsthand in terms of just how differently my wife will get treated sometimes, versus myself, or how I'll be with Belief in John, and how differently they'll get treated, and then I can go literally to the same situation or the same into the same environment and just get treated differently or get extra perks that probably within the last 10 years I've become more and more aware of my white privilege as a white male in this society, even though I'm not white American, if you will, but I'm a white male, so like there's a real component of it where like I've essentially won the lottery, and I have no reason to complain. And using my voice and my platform to speak about some of the things that are plaguing our
Those
country.
three agreed that racism does exist in America. What do you think? A couple days ago, a black 10-year-old boy by the name of Legend Preston was held at gunpoint by officers because they said they thought he was an adult. Now, do you think, had that been a white 10-year-old boy, that the cops would have held him at gunpoint and used the explanation that they thought he was an adult? And maybe the fact that we have to even ask that question is a problem. What do you think? Be sure to listen to the full 2-part series on race in America at testimonystories.com. And know this, that this is not your average interview. We splice together my narrative, their interview, and music into a really dope 30-minute format. There's 2 episodes, so it's an hour altogether, but you can break it down to part 1 and part 2. testimonystories.com. Go check it out.